Security measures at the Spectrum will be similar to how they protect athletic events. Everyone who attends will be required to go through a metal detector. Large bags aren't allowed and small bags will be searched. But USU says their Department of Public Safety has also been working closely with law enforcement partners to keep people safe at tonight's event. They've planned for close protection of the speakers, crowd management, and clear communication between agencies. As a note, though, they cannot ban firearms from the event. According to state law, if anyone has a concealed weapons permit, they are allowed to carry on campus, even at high-profile events like this one. Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz will be one of the speakers at tonight's event in Logan. He spoke with KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
I still have all the emotions.
Former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz was actually at Charlie Kirk's event at UVU when he was shot earlier this month. When he was asked to be one of the fill-in panelists for Kirk's American Comeback Tour, he tells me he was honored.
It's an emotional moment. I hope to do it justice. Charlie Kirk was one of a kind, and there are not many people that have affected a younger generation to the degree that Charlie did.
I also asked Chaffetz about the importance of talking openly and healthily disagreeing given everything that's happened in the country recently. He responded saying this is a fight of good versus evil, and the good is the ability to speak freely without fear of getting hurt.
These emotions are raw, but particularly for our younger generation, they need to know they have a voice and they shouldn't cower.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The event will take place at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum this afternoon. The doors open at 5. The actual event begins at 6:30. Other speakers include Utah Senator Mike Lee, Governor Spencer Cox, and Arizona Representative Andy Biggs. KSL will be there, but we will not be able to bring it to you live on the air. KSL's top national stories. Before more than 800 of the country's top military officials this morning, President Trump suggested using dangerous cities as training grounds for federal troops.
They're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. Controlling the physical territory of our border is essential to national security. We can't let these people in.
Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has announced new policies on grooming and fitness. More from ABC's national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
Speaking to an auditorium full of commanders in their dress uniforms, Secretary Pete Hegseth said the era of the Department of Defense is over.
We became the woke department, but not anymore.
Hegseth announced all troops in combat roles must now meet the highest standard for men. He's instituting a new combat field test, banning beards except in the special forces, reviewing the military's rules on bullying and hazing, and ending anonymous complaints. To commanders who might disagree,
you should do the honorable thing and resign.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Other national stories KSL is following this hour. Last week's sniper-style attack on an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Texas has claimed another life. ABC's Jim Ryan reports from Dallas.
Miguel Angel Garcia was among several immigrants inside an ICE transfer van when 29-year-old Joshua Yan opened fire with a hunting rifle from a rooftop about 500 feet away. Salvadoran Norlan Guzman Fuentes was killed instantly. This morning, Garcia was taken off life support. He and his wife were buying their first home and were expecting their fifth child. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Funeral service plans are now set for the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints President Russell M. Nelson. Public is invited to a viewing on Monday the 6th from 9 to 8 p.m. inside the Conference Center at Temple Square in Salt Lake City. President Nelson's funeral will be on Tuesday the 7th, starting at noon in the Conference Center. Tickets will be required to get in and will become available online on Thursday. You can listen to the funeral service live here on KSL News Radio. We've been getting messages from students at schools around the state saying they are dressing up in their Sunday best as a tribute to the life of President Russell M. Nelson.
We're so grateful for President Nelson and his message and what he's done from being prophet, and we just want to be peacemakers with all the hard stuff going on.
Scarlett Andrus is a student at Olympus Junior High and says a big lesson they learned from President Nelson was to be a peacemaker. She also tells KSL TV she and her friends plan to dress up all week long. They are also doing this to show support to those impacted by the shooting in Michigan. Utah Governor Spencer Cox has orders U.S. and state flags to be flown at half-staff on all state facilities in honor of President Russell M. Nelson. The flags will remain lowered until sunset on the day of his funeral. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky. Wet roads causing problems?
Oh, soaked and soggy out there. The deluge that came through the valley, that's ended, but the roads are still recovering. And we still have delays southbound I-15 going from Layton Hills Mall through Layton due to an earlier crash by Layton Parkway. We should start to see that delay start to ease any moment now. All lanes of traffic are open. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
If you've been quoted for a new furnace or AC and it felt more like a sales pitch than a solution, you're not alone. Many home service companies in Utah have been bought out by big corporations focused on profits, not people. At Your Service Pros is different. Locally owned, family operated, 5-star rated and trusted by Utah families for over 20 years. Let them help you with their $49 furnace tune-ups, $39 electrical inspections, and $75 off electrical repairs. Because they know things are tight and want to help you prep your home affordably. Get a free second opinion because you deserve honest answers. If your system can be repaired, they'll fix it. If it needs replacing, they'll show you affordable options. Their goal is to earn your trust, not upsell you. Let At Your Service Pros be your pro and go-to for heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Call 801-YOUR-PRO or online at atyourservicepros.com. At Your Service Pros, 801-YOUR-PRO.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story this half hour, USU has updated its safety policies ahead of today's Turning Point USA event. This is the first time Turning Point will be back in Utah following Charlie Kirk's murder at UVU. KSL News Time, 12:08. We are continuing to follow the deadly shooting at a Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints church building in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The county sheriff says if it wasn't for the heroism of church members, it could have been worse.
Those folks turned from that moment into, we got to respond and help people like that. I mean, that's heroism. They put their life at risk and they stood in front of people.
Sheriff Christopher Swanson tells KSL TV one of those people was a bishop in the ward. 4 are dead, or were killed rather, in the attack, and 8 were injured. Those injured range in age from 6 to 78. Officials are still pretty tight-lipped about the motive behind the attack. KSL TV's Dan Rascone is in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and says we are learning more about the gunman, 40-year-old Thomas Sanford.
We've heard from that city council member that apparently he was out, kind of going door to door to meet people and greet people. He came across Thomas Sanford. And then Thomas, kind of launched into this Mormon antichrist narrative. And the city council member is saying he was very shocked, very surprised by what he was hearing.
Dan tells inside sources that officials are expecting to give an update on this case until there are not expecting to give an update, rather, on this case until there are some serious developments. We'll continue to follow the story and bring you the latest. Have you acted out while driving in a way that could be considered road rage? Most people say yes, they have. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Spend any time on I-15, you'll probably see an aggressive driver cutting in and out of lanes, putting people around them at risk. Maybe they brake checked someone. A AAA survey asked people about their driving habits and found 96% admitted to engaging in road rage over the past year. But what do they consider road rage? Well, most people said they're guilty of excessive speeding or cutting off other drivers, but 11% fell into the violent category. That includes intentionally bumping into another car or confronting a driver outside of their vehicle. Then there's the most common behaviors like honking in anger. There's not actually a stat on this one, but I'm guessing some middle fingers are probably involved as well. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Let's check in with Ricky Meese.
The crash that caused delays in Davis County southbound I-15 by Layton Parkway has been cleared. What's left is over to the right shoulder, so all lanes of travel are now open. But when we had that right lane blocked, that's all it took to back traffic to almost Antelope Drive. So that traffic is starting to clear out pretty quickly now. We are still dealing with a lot of wet roads in the valley, including rainfall that's still affecting the drive on I-80 in Parley's Canyon, where we had a rollover accident on I-80 near Lambs Canyon. You'll see some slowing on that westbound side of I-80 approaching Lambs with emergency crews over to the left. In the valley, we are still dealing with a couple of issues. A tractor trailer went off the road, and this is going to be on I-80 near Bangerter Highway. At that ramp, you'll see some eastbound slowing from Bangerter over to I-215's west belt. Also, an accident at the South Interchange, and that's on the ramp from I-15 to go south on southbound I-15 to join I-215 South Belt. We do have some backups on the collector ramp from northbound 7200 South Midvale, that ramp that runs alongside I-15 to connect to go to westbound on the South Belt. That is jammed up right now. So the rain has definitely affected the drive and taken a toll. If you are out on these roads, lights and wipers on, that will definitely help your driving and the other drivers around you. Utah Opera presents The Shining, based on Stephen King's thrilling novel. Jack Torrance's descent into madness comes to life on stage October 11th through 19th. Tickets start at $26 at utahopera.org/redrum. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, a little punch of fall today, high of 70 degrees with rain showers likely this afternoon. 57 overnight, mostly cloudy skies. 79 tomorrow, mostly sunny. How about sunshine? 80 by Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it is raining in downtown Salt Lake City, and right now 57 degrees, a lot cooler than it was yesterday. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos, if Congress can't agree on a bill to fund the government, a shutdown will begin at midnight. We'll hear the latest from congressional correspondent Cami Mondo. That's coming up, streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. Sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Donate your car to Charity Hotline. This is Roger.
Hi, Roger, I'd like to donate my car.
Yeah, good. Leave the keys in it, park it on the street, and we'll send a thug. Tow.
Where's your office?
In New Jersey. Where do you want it to be?
Well, Roger, I want to make sure my donation helps Utah kidney patients.
It will.
Which ones?
Well, does it matter?
Yes, I want the money to stay in Utah.
And boy, have you got the wrong number.
If you want your car donation to help people here in Utah, turn your car into a kidney car. Car for the National Kidney Foundation of Utah and Idaho. Hi, this is Luz Luis Perez. Kidney Cars is the Beehive State's #1 choice for charity car donation since 1990. When you donate your car to Kidney Cars, funding stays in Utah to help local Utah kidney patients and funds local medical research. Kidney Cars gets donors the highest tax deduction, along with free towing. Visit towcars.org and learn more. That's towcars with a K, like kidney. That's TOWKARS.org.
Man, I want to tell people how they can look and feel 10 years younger because it's something you and I already know.
We lost weight with the SOTA weight loss program. I lost 34 pounds, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I do feel younger. I have more energy, all because I worked through this wonderful program, SOTA weight loss.
And I let go of 70 pounds of fat weight over 5 months, and I actually did get comments, you look incredibly younger. It really felt good.
And I love the example I set for my kids to show them, look, we can celebrate things without having to eat stuff that's bad for our bodies.
And what helps is the accountability. And right now, this is the best way to do it. SOTA's bringing back their most popular offer of the season. Join now, and your partner joins for free in the Partner Program.
So you and your spouse, or you and your best friend, get going with SOTA weight loss.
They're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and client results. You can find out by going to their website, sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because SOTA is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
KSL News Time 12:16. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Charlie Kirk's organization Turning Point USA is coming back to Utah tonight for the first time since Kirk was murdered. Former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz says he was honored to be asked to help fill in for him. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, Congress is scrambling to pass a bill to keep the government funded. We'll hear more in just a few minutes. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
In Murray, we do have a jackknife tractor trailer who just got turned around and moved out of traffic. This is westbound I-215 southbound, just after the I-15 overpass. So at about 7th West, traffic that was blocked is now starting to move again, but residual delays remain. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Showers and thunderstorms today with cool temperatures, then clearing tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's coming down in downtown Salt Lake City, 55 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Trump administration ramping up its immigration operations around the country. Outside Chicago, the village of Broadview, where an ICE detention facility has been at the center of recent protests. Today, Broadview's mayor announced they're conducting 3 separate criminal investigations into ICE agents of endangering first responders, residents, and protesters at the ICE facility using tear gas, pepper spray, and bullets. In Texas, last week's shooting attack at an ICE facility that killed and injured detainees has claimed another life. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Miguel Angel Garcia was among several immigrants inside an ICE transfer van when 29-year-old Joshua Yan opened fire with a hunting rifle from a rooftop about 500 feet away. Salvadoran Norlan Guzman Fuentes was killed instantly. This morning, Garcia was taken off life support. He and his wife were buying their first home and were expecting their 5th child. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The likelihood of a government shutdown growing with the deadline at midnight tonight for lawmakers to find a compromise on a stopgap measure to extend funding.
Without an agreement to fund their agencies, some 750,000 civilian workers could be forced to stay home. Millions more in the military and civilian ranks would be expected to work protecting life and property. After the last shutdown in 2019, Congress changed the law to ensure that all federal employees are made financially whole whenever a shutdown ends, whether they were furloughed or not. The Congressional Budget Office estimates in this round it could cost taxpayers $400 million a day to pay federal workers who'd be barred from working.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. A federal judge today ruling the Trump administration's efforts to deport non-citizens for protesting the war in Gaza was unconstitutional. U.S. District Judge William Young agreeing with several university associations that the policy they described as ideological deportation violates the First Amendment. On Wall Street, stocks are down. You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. Senate leaders are expected to vote on a bill that would fund the government through November and avoid a government shutdown. Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo told inside sources that Republicans and Democrats in the Senate will have a meeting today before taking a vote.
They're not going to be talking to each other, at least not for right now. But, Democrats are kind of facing this question of, do we back this GOP bill and avert a shutdown, or do we stand firm on our demands and let the government shut down? So I think that's really the dynamic that you're looking at right now.
We were noticing this morning, Cammie, looking at some of the reporting that came out yesterday about this meeting between these, Senate leaders and the White House, that really it seemed like there was an effort, I would say probably on both parties' side, to present this to the public as, well, the other side is going to lose face here. How much of this do you think is just the optics of the thing versus the actual procedural matter?
It does seem that right now it's more political posturing than actually finding a solution to this. Both sides, rather than, budging either way or trying to find a compromise, like you said, they're just trying to blame the other side, make it seem as if the other one is controlling this completely. Democrats came out first to say that, Republicans heard their demands but aren't budging. You had Republicans come out after to say that Democrats are asking for things that they just can't give. And so you're absolutely right that this is more so like political messaging at this point. We're about 12 hours away from the deadline, and it doesn't seem like we have any movement on either side.
Cammie says federal agencies have already begun to send out guidance letters for what to do if a shutdown were to happen. It's been years since the last shutdown. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And Ricky, it's nice to have some rain, but it sure makes a mess of traffic.
Yeah, when we get this much rain, it's very difficult for the valley to deal with not just the ground, but the drivers, because it does cause visibility issues. It causes hydroplaning. It causes problems for drivers trying to handle that much water. And right now, we're dealing with the effects of the rain that has come through. We had a jackknife semi. Now, he's been moved out of traffic. This is westbound I-215 South Belt at about 7th West. So this is just after the I-15 junction. All lanes are open, but they did do a traffic slowdown to make sure and get these vehicles moved over to the right shoulder. Traffic moving through the area again, but remember, a lot of water on the roads. So we're still dealing with some backups. Some heavy and slow traffic southbound I-15 from the south interchange into Midvale, and northbound I-15 in spots South Salt Lake to downtown. We do have a crash in the the Kaysville area on I-15 southbound, a single vehicle over to the side, but it's in Centerville. It's on the right shoulder. But then on southbound Highway 89 in Fruit Heights, we do have a crash that's been blocking right lanes of traffic and causing delays there. If you're on I-80 in Parley's Canyon, a vehicle went off the road and crashed, landing on its top in the median. This is westbound I-80 approaching Lambs Canyon. A lot of emergency crews in that left lane. That is also backing traffic in the area. So the big message here is lights and wipers on. Slow your speeds for these current driving conditions, which is just a lot of water on the roads. Ramps have been very problematic for a lot of drivers, so definitely take those with caution. Ricky Mason, the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast on the cool side today. High of only 70 degrees with a good chance for rain showers and thunderstorms. 57 overnight. We'll go to 79 tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. 80 on Thursday, also dry. Back at it with mostly cloudy skies on Friday. Chance for showers, 68 and breezy. Rain showers likely with thunderstorms on Saturday, 66. We'll go to mid-60s Sunday and Monday with mostly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Light rain in downtown Salt Lake City and 56 degrees. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. A quick check of the markets. Mostly in negative territory. The S&P just dipping its toes into positive territory. We'll get a complete update of your money news coming up next.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Capital Wealth Advisors, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the Capital Wealth Advisors team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 801-210-5500. That's 801-210-5500. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Ticket packages for the Utah Mammoth 2025-26 season are available now. From full season and half season packages to mini plans and other flexible options, choose the ticket package that fits you best and be part of the action all season long. Call or text 801-325-PUCK to talk with a rep or visit nhl.com/Utah/tickets/season tickets to learn more.
KSL News Time, 1226. 3 months before Christmas, the world's biggest retailers are stocking up on holiday merchandise.
Ready for an earworm to replace Baby Shark? With hardly a dime spent on traditional advertising, a line of toys that originated in China is rising in popularity among Americans. Labubu sales on TikTok Shop in the U.S. reportedly grew from under $430,000 in May of last year to nearly $5 million in May 2025. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Watching Utah's money, more Americans are moving into new homes. Pending home sales increased 4% in August compared to July. National Association of Realtors says lower mortgage rates got more people to go under contract. OpenAI has announced a new parental control for ChatGPT to make it safer for teens. It comes after several lawsuits that claim the chatbot encouraged and helped teenagers take their lives. Parents will have a dashboard to adjust settings and receive notifications if their child might be in distress. True Fruit is recalling some of its freeze-dried fruit after reports that there might be metal fragments in the snacks. The freeze-dried strawberries and dark and white chocolate, as well as strawberries and cream, are affected. And your money at this moment, the Dow down by 57 points, sitting at 46,261. S&P, it's up by 3. The NASDAQ down by 12 points. A new viral online trend has health officials worried.
Shriners Hospital in Boston is now warning about the dangers of the K-pop noodle challenge, an online trend popular on TikTok that was inspired by the Netflix movie K-pop Demon Hunters.
Time for our pregame ramen.
The trend involves eating instant ramen noodles like the characters in the film, which Shriners says has led to burn injuries. One doctor there says she's seen 2 or 3 cases a week since the trend got popular, and that children have thinner skin and are therefore more likely to sustain a burn injury. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
The changing temps and colorful leaves means fall's in the air. Take a mental break, becoming one with your thoughts and nature, starting in Cedar City. Lighten your heart and clear your mind with a short drive to enjoy not 1, but 4 scenic highways, connecting you to nothing but an open canvas of color. Vibrant shades of red rocks, amber leaves, clear blue skies, and endless shades of emerald green in Cedar Breaks and Dixie National Forest. Cedar City is nature's backdrop, where the forest actually does meet the trees. The journey isn't about getting there, it's about being there. Being on a hike, mountain biking, or OHVing, with eyes and jaws wide open to scenic views. Cedar City also harvests the best events. Charming organic farmers markets, promising the best pumpkin patches and hay mazes in the West. Plus the Sheep Parade down Main, October 25th. For the fall color reports, activities, eateries, and more, log on to visitcedarcity.com. That's visitcedarcity.com.
Join KSL News Radio and Jeff Kaplan live at the new Applebee's in Orem this Friday from 3 to 6:30. Enter to win rivalry game tickets and dinner for two. Traffic and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have rain that has caused a lot of problems for drivers on the roads. Now, we still have some leftover heavy and slow traffic southbound I-15 in Davis County, going from Kaysville towards Farmington. We had an accident in Centerville. All the delays have cleared out. Where we're seeing the backup now, it's on southbound Highway 89 due to a crash in Fruit Heights, blocking right lanes of travel. In Salt Lake County, the rain has definitely slowed speeds in many areas, including southbound I-15 from the South Interchange to 90th South. A rollover crash. This is in Parley's Canyon, westbound I-80 approaching Lambs. You'll see vehicles with emergency crews over to the left. That also still causing a little bit of backup. We've had a crash, and this is going to be on I-215 South Belt, and it's over to the right now. This is westbound on the South Belt just after the I-15 junction. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And courtesy of a cold front, I've got rain showers and thunderstorms today with a high of 70 degrees. Overnight, we'll go to 57, maybe some lingering showers, but partly to mostly cloudy. 79 tomorrow, dry skies, mostly sunny, and 80 on Thursday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Light rain in downtown Salt Lake City, 55 degrees. KSL's top story this hour. U.S. senators are expected to vote on a bill that would fund the government through November. If they don't pass it, a government shutdown will begin at midnight. This has left Utah lawmakers frustrated. We have team coverage beginning with KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla.
GOP state Senate leaders, including President Stuart Adams, have sent a letter to Congress with one central message. A government shutdown would unnecessarily hurt Americans all over the country.
The government shutdown will just, again, cause havoc with federal workers, our national parks, security at the airport. We don't need another government shutdown.
The letter says it would needlessly disrupt the economy, threaten public safety, and undermine public confidence in the institution. It calls specifically for Democratic Senate leaders to agree to a short-term funding extension passed in the House earlier this month with bipartisan support. All four of Utah's House members voted to extend that funding. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
State and national parks are preparing for the possibility of a government shutdown, but officials say they will remain open for visitors.
Utah state parks are funded by the state, meaning no matter what happens with government funding, they'll remain open.
Many of Utah's state parks are at the level of our national parks, offering great experiences and adventures.
Public Relation Manager with Utah's Office of Tourism, Anna Lowridge, says so many of the state's businesses depend on not just state, but also national parks. So Utah is committed to keeping them open for visitation. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
President Trump has previously threatened layoffs and firings if Congress can't reach a deal. Today, he's saying the same.
President Trump said Tuesday there could be layoffs in the federal workforce if there's a government shutdown starting Wednesday. Asked how many people could lose their jobs, the president pointed the finger at Democrats for their shutdown demands.
We may do a lot, and that's only because of the Democrats.
The president went on to claim that Democrats are seeking, quote, full health care benefits for migrants. But Democrats are insisting on a reversal of Medicaid cuts passed earlier this year and an extension of Obamacare subsidies that are set to expire this year. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Meantime, the president has announced that drug maker Pfizer has agreed to sell the company's medications through Medicaid at lower prices. Mr. Trump has been pressing drug makers to cut prices so that they are more in line with costs overseas.
Pfizer has agreed to provide some of their most popular current medications to all consumers at heavily discounted prices of anywhere between 50 and even 100%. And that's off the price.
This is the Trump administration's first deal with the drug maker, but Mr. Trump suggested it won't be the last. Today we are hearing from the Bishop of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints ward in Michigan that was attacked by a shooter who set that building on fire.
As you might expect, our members are quite shaken in spirit and in body, and it hurts.
Grand Blanc Ward Bishop Jeffrey Schaub says, though it's been incredible to see how many people have offered their help in one way or another, and he says he believes relying on Jesus Christ will help them get through what he's calling the biggest trial many of the congregants will ever face. Leaders of the church are now preparing to call a new church president following the passing of President Russell M. Nelson.
President Nelson's counselors in the first presidency, President Dallin H. Oaks and President Henry B. Eyring, will now return to their places in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. If history has anything to say about it, President Oaks will likely become the next president of the church, since the longest-serving apostle has always become the next president. If that happens, President Oaks would then call 2 counselors, likely apostles, to join him in the first presidency. Then the church would call a new apostle to fill President Nelson's place in the Quorum of the 12. We could see this happen in General Conference this weekend. KSL News Radio will be airing every session live Saturday and Sunday. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Emergency crews are on the scene fighting a fire about 2 miles up the hillside from the University of Utah. Utah Fire Info is calling it the Dry Creek Fire, and they estimate it's already burned around 50 acres since it started around 4 this morning. First look traffic. Let's check the roads. Here's Ricky Meese.
Still wet and soggy out there. Slow your speeds. We're still dealing with the leftover delays of an earlier accident southbound Highway 89 in Fruit Heights. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:36. How good would it feel to lose those extra pounds by the holidays? I want to tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. I have lost more than 40 pounds with this great program. One of the great things about it is the structure. I mean, you know exactly what to eat, you know when to eat it, you know how much to eat, and, you know, we all think we can do this on our own. We can eat all the good foods, but I don't think many of us really realize how much we're eating and how much we need to cut back to actually take off those pounds. This program is all natural. That means you don't have to worry about any sort of side effects. There are no injections, no surgery or pills. It's just a simple combination of foods. They have a great app that gives you all the resources you need to be successful. It keeps you accountable. It gives you daily inspiration and great recipes as well. And if you have any questions, you can always ask on the app. I've lost more than 40 pounds, but many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. Find out how you can save $200 now at slcfatloss.com, or you can call them 801-450-1882, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
It's the Wi-Fi nightmare. Your kids are gaming online, your spouse is streaming, and all you want to do is watch an interesting YouTube clip, but the rest of your family has swiped all the zippity bandwidth. And you get the spinning wheel thingy, and you sound like an 8-year-old kid. It's not fair! But it doesn't have to be that way. Just imagine if your Wi-Fi was a lot smarter. Picture it, your TV, your phone, laptop, even your fancy fridge working together to make life easier. Well, Xfinity makes that dream a reality. You'd think they're telepathic. Really smart Wi-Fi that knows when your device needs a boost. The best equipment to stream 4 games at once with multi-view, and Xfinity Mobile that gives you Wi-Fi where you need it and 5G everywhere else. No more fighting for bandwidth at the end of a long day. Every device gets exactly what it needs. That's the magic of Xfinity. It's seamlessly in tune with you. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story, Utah State Senate Republicans are calling on congressional leaders to pass a spending bill and avoid a government shutdown. Brigham City police are investigating a deadly hit-and-run last night. Police say a 65-year-old woman was found near 850 South and 4th East in Brigham City just after 9. She was quickly taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Police have still not found the car or driver involved in the crash. A Utah lawmaker wants to start providing cell phones to lower-level offenders to ease overcrowding in the local jails and save taxpayers money. According to Salt Lake County, almost 40% of people booked are for warrant services. Public Defender and Representative Grant Miller says most of the time those folks are arrested because they didn't know where to go to court.
If you don't have access to your attorney or your social worker or your probation officer, you're going to have a hard time coming to court and you're going to get that warrant.
Miller says housing someone in jail could cost about $5,000 a month, and a prepaid phone could cost as little as $40. Davis County is going to start spraying for mosquitoes at night at Hill Air Force Base. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports.
The pests are increasing, and officials are concerned about the spread of West Nile virus. Kendall Johnson with Hill's Public Affairs says while they haven't found any West Nile there, Residents on the base have been told to prepare for mosquito fogging.
No cases have been reported on base. It's just Davis County has seen elevated risk recently.
Residents are advised to keep children and pets indoors from 9 p.m. to midnight on Tuesdays and Thursdays while the fogging takes place. The fogging is EPA approved and safe. No cases of West Nile virus have been reported on the base. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
If you're headed southbound on I-15, we do have some heavy and slow traffic between the South Interchange and Sandy. We've also had a crash. It's no longer blocking traffic and delays have cleared, but it's still in a spot where you need to watch for this. This is westbound I-215 southbound after the South Interchange, the I-15 overpass at about 7th West. All vehicles are out of traffic over on the shoulder. An earlier accident in Parley's Canyon. In the cleanup stages, delays have eased westbound I-80 approaching Lambs Canyon. And then the accident that we had southbound, Highway 89 in Fruit Heights. In the final cleanup stages and the backup it was causing, also easing quickly. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Significantly cooler today with a high of only 70 degrees and an autumn-like cold front bringing in showers and thunderstorms. 57 overnight, will likely go mostly cloudy, maybe a sprinkle. 79 tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. 80 by Thursday with full-on sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Light rain, a bit nippy today, 55 degrees downtown. Coming up on midday, USU is updating its security policies ahead of the Turning Point USA event this evening. We'll speak with retired Deputy Chief in just a moment. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
KSL News Time, 1245. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
Utah State says after the Charlie Kirk shooting at UVU, it's all hands on deck to keep people safe at today's Turning Point USA event. In addition to metal detectors and bag checks, other law enforcement partners will be there to help protect the speakers and the crowds. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, 96% of the drivers on the road tell AAA they've been involved in a road rage incident over the past year. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Rain still slowing speeds southbound I-15 from Murray into Sandy, particularly between the South Interchange and 90th South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thunderstorms on tap for today, and then maybe again over the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
55 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national story.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Divisions remain deep in the final hours before the government runs out of funding. Republicans accusing Democrats of making unrealistic demands on a short-term funding bill. Democrats say they're fighting to preserve aspects of Medicaid, which was slashed under the GOP mega spending bill. Senator Mark Warner says the consequences will be immediate in a shutdown.
They are rural hospitals. They depend on Medicaid. They depend on people being enrolled in the exchanges. People get blown off because of the premium increases, they're going to leave the system. They don't disappear. They're going to show up in the emergency room.
Democratic leaders say it seems President Trump wants the shutdown and is threatening to lay off more federal workers. Secretary Pete Hegseth laying out a new direction, he says, for the military at a gathering of high-ranking military leaders in Virginia. It includes new physical and grooming standards. Hegseth says women will need to meet male physical standards to be in combat roles. This is ABC News.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night, I had the chance to see a brand new play at Hale Center Theater, and it's the musical comedy Murders of 1940. And I'm just going to read what I wrote to Sally Dietlein right after I got out to my truck. I just had to let her know how much I enjoyed it, and I said, a black and white screwball film noir comedy complete with Nazis you have outdone yourself. This is so unique. The entire play, save only one character, is in black and white. Sally wrote back and said, yeah, I think it's the first time we've ever done, and she used this term, grayscape. It is so unique. You are going to love it. And then just down the hall, Sister Act is showing, and all kinds of wonderful performances still to come, like Frozen. We've already got our tickets for our grandkids. Go to hct.org or get your tickets at the box office. And don't forget, get your 2026 season tickets.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came packed to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KSL News Time, 1248. Turning Point USA will host an event from their American Comeback Tour at Utah State University. This will be their first Utah event since the one where Charlie Kirk was killed at Utah Valley University, so security will be tight. Joining me now live is retired Unified Deputy Police Chief Chris Bertram. Chris, thanks for being with me.
Thanks.
So describe for us what types of things will be happening on campus to keep people safe.
You know, I mean, there's going to be probably enhanced law enforcement presence on campus along with their security people. I imagine that they're going to bring in probably other agencies, local or state agencies, to help with that. And I would also imagine that the federal partners will at least be there for the planning, intelligence, and maybe even some of the logistical support depending on how big the event is going to be and what they anticipate with regards to the crowd. Also, any actionable intelligence that gives the possibility that there may be a threat will probably enhance all of the things that I just mentioned.
Right. So what types of rules are in place for those folks who want to bring a gun on campus?
That it's unique in Utah because our campuses are open to firearms. And so to restrict those takes, again, a heightened need or a heightened security need. I think in this case, they've already put out that they're going to allow people with concealed weapon permits to come in, although they're going to be using magnetometers. I think if people do have weapons and they choose to bring them in, they're going to validate that they actually are concealed weapon permit holders. That's unique. From a security perspective, when you're going to the extent to restrict bags and have magnetometers, but to still allow firearms into the event is somewhat unique, and I think there is always going to be a challenge when you have those circumstances.
Right. This event's going to be held indoors, unlike the one at UVU, but how difficult is it to keep people safe?
Indoor venues will be a little bit better. You can control people coming in and out. You can control, what type of, material may be in the bag. For instance, the bags will be checked. Indoor venues tend to be a little bit safer for these type of events. You can control things a little bit better than you can control in outside events. And so I think it's one of the situations where I think in light of what's going on across the country, the different events that we've had more recently, I think this is probably a wise idea to keep it inside, keep a little more control on your safety and security measures.
All right. Thanks so much for being with me today. That is retired Unified Deputy Police Chief Chris Bertram. Let's get you up to date now on the roads, traffic, and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
Speeds in the valley are improving on the freeways. The one slow spot that remains is southbound I-15 near the South Interchange, 7200 South, 90th South. Right in that stretch going from Murray to Sandy, you're going to see heavy and slow traffic. I don't have a problem reported there, but the rain has definitely taken a toll on your noontime drive. In Davis County, we still have the cleanup of an earlier crash on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at 200 North in Kaysville. It's been partially sticking out into that right lane, but you're able to get around it. And then also we had the earlier accident on I-80 at the Bangerter Highway ramp. Now, this is on the westbound side of I-80. You can still make that ramp, but you'll still see officers over to the right shoulder in that vicinity, so it's really not going to cause you any kind of problem with the drive. Just remember, take those ramps, on and off ramps, slow. We had a stalled vehicle in traffic that has finally been cleared at the 201 Junction and Redwood Road. So traffic able to get through that area once again. So the rain has definitely caused some problems for drivers. It looks like it's starting to ease, and we're seeing big improvements on your drive. Advanced Window Products, factory direct affordable windows. Call today, they're on their way. Financing available, save now, pay later. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast looks active. I've got a 70 for today, feeling very fall-like with a chance for showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. 79 as we head into your Wednesday drying skies. Thursday sunshine, 80 degrees. 68 by Friday, mostly cloudy, a little bit breezy, and a chance for showers. Better rain chances and thunderstorms on Saturday, 66. Mid-60s on Sunday, mostly cloudy, 30% chance. Mostly cloudy, 64 by Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Light rain in downtown Salt Lake City, 55 degrees, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets coming your way next.
Jeff Kaplan. I'm energized by breaking news. First of all, because it's right now, and second of all, because in many cases the audience needs to know. There's no more important service that we can provide, and I find it critically important to get more details to the audience as quickly as possible. There's nothing more energizing than that for me. Not at all. The most important thing we do is breaking news. I am gratified that so many people listen to me every afternoon on KSL, but what they don't know is that there are so many people behind the scenes making it happen, checking on the traffic, answering the phones, making the calls, talking to the newsmakers. They're out in the street, into the field to get the raw information, and then putting it all together so that I can sit in front of a microphone and be a source of information every afternoon. But there are so many people who make it happen. That's what you don't know.
Ride Home with Jeff Kaplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time 12:55. It's the end of the road for a once popular internet service.
It's a sound that went hand in hand with getting online in the 90s and 2000s, and now AOL is pulling the plug on its dial-up internet service. At its peak, about 20 million people used America Online, as it was once known, but those numbers dropped off significantly as broadband internet proliferated. Even still, data from the U.S. Census Bureau finds as many as 163,000 people still use dial-up, mainly in rural areas. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Watching Utah's money, McDonald's is bringing back Monopoly. It's been 10 years since the fast food giant offered deals through the game with peelable game board pieces on the packaging. Now, this time, it will all take place virtually through the app, but it will still offer prizes up to $1 million. YouTube is paying $24.5 million to settle a lawsuit by President Trump after the app suspended his account in 2021 after the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. The settlement does not constitute an admission of liability. Electronic Arts, the maker of video games like Madden NFL, Battlefield, and The Sims, have been acquired by a large private equity-funded buyout in history. The investors, who also include a firm managed by Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law, valued the deal at $55 billion. The Dow now down by only 6 points, sitting at 46,307. S&P up by 9. NASDAQ up by just a fraction.
When you need a new water heater, you need it right now.
Yep, can't wait on that.
When you need a new furnace or a new air conditioner come the summertime, you need it right now. So Superior Water and Air has a wonderful program where they can help you with financing. If you need it, get it today and pay it off when you get your tax refund or just over time.
That's one of the great things is they have multiple financing options. It's not just one, okay, you've got to do it this way. It's, you can wait till just after your tax refund. Well, what if you need no payments until later in the year?
Yeah.
They can work with you like that because, look, they want to help you get you back on your feet with the thing that doesn't work that you got to use.
Yeah.
And they'll just work with your situation. What a great way to do it.
I loved introducing you to my friends at Superior because they're just great people. And when you invite somebody into your home, you want to feel good about them.
Yeah, and they're so customer-centric. That was what really impressed me was they wanted to work with me and my family, whatever needs we might have.
Right. They want your home to be safe and clean. Superior Water and Air. Here's the number, 801-872-8483, or go to superiorwaterandair.com.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We are seeing slow speeds that remain on southbound I-15 in Murray and Midvale, especially between 53rd and 72nd South. But it's going to be busy from Murray all the way into Sandy, so keep that in mind. And you're still dealing with a lot of wet roads in the valley. But earlier crashes are in the clearing stages, and earlier delays are really clearing out. So even though the rain came through, we're seeing improvements on your noontime drive. UTA is road therapy. Give your car a break and get more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today's high only getting up to about 70 degrees, 80% chance of continuing showers. Tomorrow, the high 79, and that chance of rain just goes away for the next couple of days, but then back on Friday and Saturday. Right now, 55 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, back in Utah tonight for the first time since he was murdered. Several well-known names in Utah politics set to take his place on the tour stop. Those asked to speak saying they are honored to continue Kirk's legacy.
It's an emotional moment. I hope to do it justice. Charlie Kirk was one of a kind, and there are not many people that have affected a younger generation to the degree that Charlie did.
The time is 1 o'clock on Tuesday, September 30th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, the changes being made to keep attendees protected and safe as they exercise their First Amendment rights. Also this hour,
we are clearing out the debris, removing the distractions, clearing the way for leaders to be leaders.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth committing to restore America's military forces to be warriors. More on that in just a few minutes. But first, our top stories. Utah lawmakers are calling on Congress to put their differences aside and pass a short-term funding expansion to avoid a government shutdown. Senate President Stuart Adams says the federal government should be more like Utah by balancing the budget, cutting taxes, and living within its means.
And that's really maybe challenging for some elected officials, but we've been able to do it in Utah. It's very hard to tell people no, but we do it. And we try to make sure we prioritize our spending. And we've done very well.
Adams' letter to Congress says allowing a shutdown would deeply impact first responders, veterans, and families that need help. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth addressed senior military leaders today, criticizing so-called toxic leaders who he claims have been lowering standards in the department. He outlines his vision for a new direction, including new standards for combat arms positions, regular PT tests, and changes to grooming standards. Following Hegseth, President Trump addressed the group.
We're bringing back a focus on fitness, ability, character, and strength, and that's because the purposes of American military is not to protect anyone's feelings, it's to protect our republic.
They also made it clear men and women would have to meet the same physical standards for combat. Other national stories KSL is following. Evenflow is recalling more than 324,000 car seats. That's because the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the headrest could be a choking hazard. The recall involves Evenflow's Revolve 360 Slim and Gold Revolve 360 Slim models. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow down by about 10 points, sitting at 46,306. S&P is up by 9, and the NASDAQ is down by just a fraction. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. What's happening on the roads, Ricky?
Still soaked and soggy on the roads in the valley. Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash at 6 West and North Temple and an accident southbound I-15 Antelope Drive in Davis County. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Decreasing showers later today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. 0% chance of rain, and then the showers coming back into the forecast for Friday and Saturday. 55 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? It's natural to think of this as being your money, right? But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And you could be paying a lot more in taxes on these accounts than you know. A lot more. Learn the strategies that can help you reduce or eliminate your taxes in retirement. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 1027.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
When your reputation's on the line, you don't leave anything to chance, especially your primer. Painter's Trust Kills primers for a smooth start, strong adhesion, and serious stain-blocking power. And now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. All eyes on Utah State University today as the campus prepares to host the next event of Turning Point USA's national tour. You'll recall this is the organization created by conservative influencer Charlie Kirk, who was murdered at another Turning Point event at Utah Valley University earlier this month. Today, the focus is all on security. KSL News Radio's Adam Small explains more about what makes today's event different.
This is going to be the first event Turning Point USA has held since Charlie Kirk was murdered at UVU just under 3 weeks ago. That's his organization. We talked about it around the time Charlie Kirk lost his life. They like to make these stops at colleges where kids can go up to a microphone, ask questions to Charlie. But obviously now with Charlie not here, they are trying to continue Charlie's American Comeback Tour is what it's called. And they will be holding an event at Utah State University tonight. So it's expected to be a little bit of an emotional ride with it's their first stop back since they lost their founder. And they've actually got some guest speakers in. And Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman, is going to be one of them. And I talked to them ahead of the event about how he feels being one of those guest speakers tonight.
It was an honor that I would be asked. I hope I do it justice because he had a message of faith and family and freedom and love of country. And it's a very positive message, but he was just so good and so unique in how he carried that message forward unabashedly. And he would take his biggest detractors and say, come, let's have a discussion. And I think that's what we're going to do tonight up at Utah State.
Oh, he sounds very emotional.
Yeah, one thing to know about former Congressman Chaffetz is he was actually at the UVU event where Charlie Kirk was shot, and it's been he kind of told me, like, I'm still feeling all the emotions as can be expected, and I think you hear it in his voice. Like he says, I want to do Charlie and his message justice, and he kind of talked about his relationship with Charlie with me as well before he lost his life.
I was there. I had traded text messages with Charlie. Said, hey, I'm glad to see you coming to Utah 2 times, Utah Valley and then Utah State, and was planning to get together with him. And it's just, I'm still have all the emotions from sadness and sorrow to great optimism. I think that memorial that they did for Charlie after with Erica Kirk's comments, that was as Christ-like as it gets, and I was just inspired by that. And I think a lot of people were, and I hope even more will be in the future.
Does he have a particular message that he hopes to give tonight?
Well, we know that there's going to be, it sounds like from what Jason told me, there's going to be some kind of small memorial because Charlie was set to speak at Utah State sometime after he was speaking at UVU. He had a schedule he was on. So Utah State was a planned stop, but obviously got canceled with what happened. So he told me there's going to be a small memorial. But then from there, as far as we understand, they're going to, if you've watched any of Charlie Kirk's videos on social media, the way he set it up, I'm going to go to a college campus. I'm going to go to a place where people can see me. You set up a microphone, and he lets people come up, ask him a question, and you have a discussion, whether you agree or not. And that's what Charlie Kirk did. So from what Jason understands, he tells me that they're expecting after that small memorial to be able to do something like that, kind of open mic. Come on up. Let's talk to ask me a question or ask one of the other panelists, which will be Utah Senator Mike Lee will be one, Utah Governor Spencer Cox, and then Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. From what I understand, people will be able to come up and be like, hey, I have a concern about the economy, or hey, we could see a government shutdown potentially tonight at midnight. Tell me, Governor Cox, what do you think about this? Like, that sounds like what it's going to be like.
And apparently they feel like this is important to continue, even this quickly after his death.
Yeah, and I think the idea of this was to keep Charlie's mission going. And it does seem very quick, but I think it also shows what Charlie's wife, Erica, and his organization, Turning Point USA, believe. They believe what he was doing was important, and they felt like, okay, we're mourning. We've had our time to mourn. We're still mourning, but this is an important thing. We need to continue. And it's something I asked former Congressman Chaffetz about was, we've seen so many terrible things happen in the country between what happened to Charlie, what happened at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints meeting house in Michigan. We've seen the Minnesota lawmakers losing their lives and all these terrible things recently. So I asked him, what do you feel about the importance of having healthy dialogue, disagreeing healthily? And he described it as a battle of good and evil.
This is a fight of good versus evil. And I think the evil side would want to suppress the good side. And you got to be able to make sure that the good who are out there in mass don't feel afraid. They can get up and share their voice in the public square without fear of harm. And here you had the assassination of Charlie Kirk less than 3 weeks ago. You had the attack on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints just this past Sunday. These emotions are raw, but particularly for our younger generation, they need to know they have a voice and they shouldn't cower.
So I have to ask, though, what will be different about this event compared to what we saw at UVU? I mean, what are some of the safety and security things that have been put in place?
So the big thing is that it's going to be indoors. When Charlie Kirk was doing his tours around college campuses, he liked to be outside. He liked to be in like when he was at UVU, he was in central campus in the courtyard, the place where people could see him, people could walk up easily and just come talk. And that he wanted to be approachable. But given, with emotions running high and fear of security, Utah State, they've planned this as an indoor event. And doors open at 5. The event actually starts at 6:30. I do know from the school that they are planning to have extra police presence, a high security presence. And again, the big change being that it's going to be indoors. It's going to be easier to screen people coming in. There's no, because what happened with Charlie, you had a alleged sniper on a roof where it was almost, I imagine, very difficult to see that kind of thing coming. So this being indoors, I think that is going to be that heightened sense of security with not just law enforcement. You're going to be inside. It's going to be more easily contained. We can all take a breath, and we can all be here and talk and do what we set out to do.
USU says today's security measures at the Spectrum will be similar to how they protect athletic events. Everyone who attends will be required to go through a metal detector. Large bags won't be allowed, and small bags will be searched. Utah State University says their Department of Public Safety has been working closely with law enforcement partners to keep people safe at tonight's event. That includes closer protection of the speakers, better crowd management, and clear communication between the different law enforcement agencies. As a note, though, firearms cannot be banned from this event. According to state law, if someone has a concealed weapon permit, they are allowed to carry on campus, even at high-profile events like this one. KSL will be monitoring tonight's event and will bring you reports throughout Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
The other day, I'm over at a friend's place. He's pumped to watch football, but his setup, total mess. Lagging, buffering, and switching between apps trying to find the game. He claimed he was a big fan, but I felt like I was fan-fished. See, if you call yourself a football fan, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way I watch? Next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I have all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like I'm in the stadium. Sometimes I've got 4 games going at once because why not? On top of all that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house, every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multiview requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
Local homeless advocates say they are worried about a recent harder stance on homelessness coming from the White House. The executive order from the White House mainly focuses on the use of involuntary civil commitment to treat substance abuse or mental health crises. Executive Director of the Rescue Mission of Salt Lake, Chris Crosswhite, says Utah is already doing as much as we can to address homelessness. He tells KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott he worries the orders from the White House may violate the civil liberties of the unhoused.
Utah is already doing the majority of what President Trump is requiring in his executive order. Utah is already, especially Salt Lake City, but even Salt Lake County, Weber, in Morgan County, is already enforcing policies that prevent homeless camping around the cities. And Utah is already encouraging people, our homeless community, to move either into treatment facilities like the Rescue Mission, or into facilities that focus on housing first, and then with optional services for treatment once a person is in housing first. So my first thought is Utah is already doing this. When it comes to the element of requiring or civil penalties requiring people to go into treatment, our courts and our law enforcement agencies and the courts and adult probation and parole, the Legal Defenders Association, they are already using the tool if a person is addicted or has a substance use disorder. The courts are already using the tools of if that person commits a crime, they are incarcerated, and being incarcerated is creating the mandatory clean time to help the person enter into recovery. And then through programs like drug court, homeless court, encouragement into inpatient treatment programs, intensive outpatient treatment programs, our court system here in Utah are already utilizing those tools to require people to enter treatment as a court order or a plea of abeyance or some sort of a court order. And the motivation there is if the courts require treatment, then while the person is fulfilling the court requirement, the hope is it will become a personal goal of that person to become clean and sober and maintain their sobriety instead of just fulfilling the court requirement.
That is the executive director of the Salt Lake Rescue Mission, Chris Crosswhite. The U.S. military is set to bring back the warrior mentality. That's according to a directive from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who spoke to military leaders this morning. More on that after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Still dealing with some wet roads out there. We do have an accident southbound Highway 89, not far from Oak Hills Drive, about a mile away to the left shoulder, and a crash southbound I-15 Antelope Drive. It looks like that's been moved over to the ramp. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Ticket packages for the Utah Mammoth 2025-26 season are available now. From full season and half-season packages to mini plans and other flexible options, choose the ticket package that fits you best and be part of the action all season long. Call or text 801-325-PUCK to talk with a rep or visit nhl.com/Utah/tickets/season tickets to learn more.
Sure, humans can be a little weird at times, but take it from me. I'm a dog. And a person is about the best thing that can happen to a shelter pet. So if you want to learn how you can be that person, get down to your local pet shelter or visit theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. Hundreds of generals and commanders in the military in Quantico, Virginia today, learning more about what Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is calling a new direction for service members. One of the highlights includes a new directive of physical standards that he says would be mandatory regardless of gender. President Trump also spoke and said the generals should quell what he called an invasion in American cities like Portland, Oregon. More from ABC's Karen Travers.
He cited an executive order he recently signed that establishes a National Guard quick reaction force that he said could quell civil disturbances in American cities. And he again said this is where people in this room would be a part of this. A very, very significant thing for the president to be talking about, using the military to go to what he is deeming a war in the United States in Democrat-run cities to put down what he is anticipating would be significant disturbances. But the president said we have to handle it before it gets out of control.
As the Secretary of Defense addressed the group of military leaders, he re-emphasized the need for preparedness, saying the military can promote peace through strength.
I feel it. This is a moment of urgency, mounting urgency. Enemies gather, threats grow. There is no time for games. We must be prepared. If we're going to prevent and avoid war, we must prepare now. We are the strength part of peace through strength. And either we're ready to win or we are not.
The secretary is saying the military needs to focus more on crafting warriors and protecting our nation. He says this shift is about fixing decades of decay which he says have made the military weak.
We have a sacred duty to ensure that our warriors are led by the most capable and qualified combat leaders. This is one thing you and I can control. And we owe it to the force to deliver it. For too long, we have simply not done that. The military has been forced by foolish and reckless politicians to focus on the wrong things. In many ways, this speech is about fixing decades of decay. Some of it obvious, some of it hidden. Or as the chairman has put it, we are clearing out the debris, removing the distractions, clearing the way for leaders to be leaders. You might say we're ending the war on warriors.
President Trump also addressed the meeting, emphasizing how important it is for the U.S. military to be well respected and feared by other countries.
We must be so strong that no nation will dare challenge us, so powerful that no enemy will dare threaten us, and so capable that no adversary can even think about beating us. And we've had it recently. I had India and Pakistan were going at it, and I called them both. And in this case, I used trade. I'm not going to trade with you. You start two nuclear nations, big nuclear. No, you cannot do that. I said, yes, I can. You go into this frickin' war that I'm hearing about. You know, actually, they just shot down 7 planes. 7 planes, it was starting. There's a lot of bad blood. And I said, you do this, there's not going to be any trade. And I stopped the war. It was raging for 4 days, but that was just the beginning. And we stopped it.
The president reiterating that he wants the Department of Defense to be called the Department of War. It's important to note that an official name change for the department requires congressional approval.
There could be no higher honor than to serve as your commander-in-chief. It is a great honor. I look at you, you're just incredible people. Central casting, I might add. To each and every one of you, I thank you for your unwavering devotion to the armed forces and to the country that we've all sworn a sacred oath to defend. We all have that oath, every one of us. I'm thrilled to be here this morning to address the senior leadership of what is once again known around the world as the Department of War.
Some have voiced concerns already with the messaging today's meeting sends to the world and to service members themselves. One item of concern is the unifying of physical standards regardless of gender. Secretary Hegseth saying the physical standards must be high and gender neutral. He says if women can make it, excellent, but if not, oh well. He says it may mean no women qualify for some combat jobs. Retired Lieutenant General Doug Lute tells ABC News that these changing standards undermine the contributions women make to the military, and that is also unnecessary.
There are standards today with regard to physical fitness, and by and large, the people who are in those jobs meet those standards. So I don't think this is the crisis that the Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War just suggested today.
I also spoke with Lieutenant General Richard Newton, who is also the senior national security contributor to News Nation, to get his perspective. He says the comments and critiques that our military has gone soft aren't accurate.
Well, I think, first off, Secretary Hegseth, I mean, it's his prerogative to to call such a meeting. I just wouldn't advise it because I think it's unnecessary in my view. And by the way, our first son was back-to-back combat tours, Army Infantry, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and then went to Afghanistan. Our current son-in-law is an Air Force Special Operations major, Air Force Special Operations pilot, 7 combat deployments, and so forth. So we are a highly skilled, highly trained, very effective military force. And this is what we do. I would advise the Secretary of Defense to focus less on perhaps, feeling compelled to what I would call a pep talk, if you will, regarding warrior ethos, and make sure, and he's trying to do this, but make sure that our military is organized, trained, equipped to continue to fight and win our nation's wars.
Before the meeting, President Trump told reporters that military leaders not on board with the changes will be fired. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Prayer of thanks and gratitude being sent around the world by members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints following the deadly attack on a ward house in Michigan. Utah's long-standing ski program for youth getting a boost as it expands its reach ahead of the upcoming season. And KSL traffic with these wet roads, Ricky.
Well, some of the roads are drying out, but not enough. We still have a crash, I-15 at Antelope Drive. Maria?
And the forecast calls for an 80% chance of showers today, decreasing to 0 Wednesday and Thursday, but then back over the weekend. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. Now our national stories. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A government shutdown looming. An estimated 750,000 civilian workers could be furloughed. Democrats and Republicans remain at odds on a short-term funding fix.
Asked about a potential government shutdown at midnight, President Trump told reporters, quote, "Nothing is inevitable." But he also said he thinks a shutdown is probably likely, pointing to what Democrats are pushing for in a funding bill. The president falsely claiming Democrats want to provide health care coverage for undocumented migrants. Democrats' key demands are extending Obamacare subsidies set to expire this year and reversing cuts to Medicaid passed earlier this year. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
President Trump earlier announcing Pfizer has agreed to lower its prices for prescription drugs offered through Medicaid. Part of the president's push, he says, for companies to charge U.S. patients the same rate charged in other countries. Iran's foreign ministry says hundreds of Iranian nationals will be deported from the U.S. in the coming weeks. The U.S. has not confirmed the deportation plans. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz will be one of the speakers at USU tonight, filling in for Charlie Kirk.
It was an honor that I would be asked. I hope I do it justice.
Former Congressman Chaffetz was at UVU when Charlie Kirk was speaking there earlier this month and had actually planned to meet up with him before he was shot.
He had a message of faith and family and freedom and love of country. And it's a very positive message, but he was just so good and so unique in how he carried that message forward unabashedly.
Ahead of tonight's event, I asked Chaffetz about the importance of having healthy discussions like Charlie Kirk did. He says he looks at it like a battle of good and evil. He says the good, the people trying to talk openly about what they believe, should be able to without the fear of being harmed.
Hearing all sides and having a dialogue and that's what we should be doing. And that's going to carry on. I think Turning Point, what Charlie Kirk did, is going to be bigger than ever now.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
The deadline is tonight. If Congress can't reach an agreement by midnight to keep the government funded, the government will shut down. President Trump has said there could be layoffs if that happens. But here in Utah, leaders are promising to keep both state and national parks open.
Utah's parks are some of the main tourist attractions to the state, says Anna Lowridge with Utah's Office of Tourism. She says when it comes to our state parks, they offer just as much scenery and adventure as a national park. And at the national parks, they receive tens of thousands of visitors every day, bringing thousands of dollars into local businesses. Lowridge says Utah is committed to keeping these spaces open for visitors no matter what happens in Washington.
That is KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reporting. Mosquitoes have been so bad this fall in Davis County, they're going to start spraying for them around Hill Air Force Base.
The pests are increasing, and officials are concerned about the spread of West Nile virus. Kendall Johnson with Hills Public Affairs says while they haven't found any West Nile there, residents on the base have been told to prepare for mosquito fogging.
No cases have been reported on base. It's just Davis County has seen elevated risk recently.
Residents are advised to keep children and pets indoors from 9 p.m. to midnight on Tuesdays and Thursdays while the fogging takes place. The fogging is EPA approved and safe. No cases of West Nile virus have been reported on the base. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment headed into the close. Markets turning into positive territory with the Dow now up by 39 points, sitting at 46,354. S&P up by 19. The NASDAQ up by 34 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
The rain is coming down again. This time it's in Utah County. It is slowing speeds on I-15 in Linden and Pleasant Grove, a little bit in the Provo area. Salt Lake County Freeway traffic delay-free and back to good speeds. But in Davis County, we do have a crash. It is blocking traffic, and we do have traffic control in place. Watch for an officer to get you through the intersection in Sunset. This is northbound SR 126 Main Street at about 2100 North. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Rain showers decreasing later today. No chance of rain tomorrow or Thursday. Temperature climbing a little bit, back up to 80 degrees by Thursday, but then that chance of showers returns for Friday and Saturday. 55 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Cooler weather. What a relief, unless you have old drafty windows. Soon the heat will escape through the cracks and your energy bill is going to go through the roof. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products and get brand new state-of-the-art custom windows and frames at factory direct pricing. The factory is right here in Salt Lake City, where they've been building precision windows since 1986, and you're going to save a lot of money since there's no middleman markup. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows. Even better, call now and they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Double pane argon-filled windows with a low-energy triple coating, any style, any color, and Advanced Windows gives you a lifetime warranty. If you have an issue, they're not 10 states away. They're right here in town, and they offer 0% 60-month financing. So make the call now. Get $2,500 off. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program in the John M. Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. A website copywriter is doing 3 times more work than she was a year ago because AI programming is helping her with composition, organization, and editing. A data scientist who used to analyze data now checks the AI-generated analysis and helps managers make better decisions. A college professor, okay, it's me, tells AI to create PowerPoint slides for a lecture, and they do it in 45 seconds, and they do a better job than it took him 2 hours to do. AI is changing everything we do in the workplace, and it certainly has disrupted the workplace. There are fewer entry-level jobs, more impersonal communications. AI is making the workplace a more productive and less personal place. Learn more about how to lead a productive workplace without losing the personal connections. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
The Michigan Church Attack. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
The investigation into Sunday's deadly rampage at a church in Michigan continues today. Federal officials trying to determine why suspect Thomas Jacob Sanford allegedly drove into a building of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, set fire to the building, and opened fire on members of the ward. Since the attack, we've learned more about Sanford, including that he is a veteran of the Iraq War. Today, the New York Times reports that Sanford actually used to live here in Utah and was also a heavy user of methamphetamine. James Deere, the special agent in charge for the Detroit ATF field office, tells ABC News there are several aspects of the investigation that are taking place.
We have started our scene examination. That should take about 2 to 4 days as to how this fire occurred and was there an accelerant and what was that accelerant.
Investigators recovered an assault rifle from the scene and some homemade IEDs in his truck, which are described as fireworks. The bishop of the Grand Blanc Ward in Michigan is sharing his appreciation for the thoughts and prayers offered to his congregation during this difficult time. Bishop Jeffrey Schaub says that he and his ward family are hurting, but he believes they will get through this by relying on the power of Jesus Christ.
I know the people around the world are praying for our ward and our families, and I am so grateful for that. It is the most significant time of my life where I have felt the love and prayer of other people It's been very inspiring, the amount of contact we've had with friends, not of our faith. As I returned home late last night, we had dozens of notes and packages and meals and food and treats waiting for us. Members of football teams, baseball teams, basketball teams, music had reached out to make sure that our family was okay. It was very humbling to see how much good there is in the world today, and that above all, we are all children of the same Father in heaven, and we love each other. As you might expect, our members are quite shaken in spirit and in body, and it hurts. I am extremely grateful for a loving Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus Christ. I know that they are aware of the challenges that we are experiencing. And I know that through our Savior, Jesus Christ, we can find joy again. I know that with His help, there can be healing. And I know as we focus on Him, we can have joy.
Bishop Jeffrey Schaub is the bishop of the Grand Blanc, Michigan ward of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We are also now hearing from people who used to attend the church in Michigan that was attacked on Sunday morning. Gail Gravenstreeter is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and spent 2 decades attending services at the church in Grand Blanc. While she now lives in Utah, she says the whole tragedy has been difficult to process.
We moved out here 5 years ago to Utah. We went to that building, that ward building, for 22 years, raised our kids there, sent 2 kids on a mission from that ward. We know the people that were injured, shot, and or died. We've been in touch with the members there to get their personal stories, how they reacted, how they're doing now, how they're processing this. And several of us from that ward have moved out to Utah. We're in Alpine, we're in Syracuse and Layton, and just kind of all over. And we just have been in contact with one another to see how each other is doing, because even my 2 sons are having a hard time with this. It was our ward family.
She tells KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson that right now she is still in a state of shock.
Disbelief. We've still been reeling from the Charlie Kirk thing, and then the death of the prophet, and then this, and it just seems like a lot of trauma to process in a short amount of time. Yeah, it was kind of disbelief. I think all my family members have said and agreed that this is the closest we've come to a personal public tragedy. You know, you hear about things in the news and other churches and other places under attack, and you just, you think, oh my goodness. And then when it hits us close to home, it's just it's just a different can of worms. It makes everything else that you've heard about real.
While she understands the concerns now from people asking how this kind of thing can be prevented, she doesn't think that this could have been. She says there's no way to really tell what's going on in someone's mind. But with the state of violence in the world right now, she thinks now is the time to be vigilant and be prepared.
You can't foresee a potential hate crime. You can't know the minds of those out there. You can't know their personal situation, the angst that they may have against one religion or another, or one political sector or another. You can only prepare. And I think that as our society becomes more aware of and violence increases, we just need to be better prepared, because it's not going to end. It's not going to decrease. It seems that everything's suggesting that it's going the other way. And so now I think it's time to, just relax and feel as though it couldn't happen to us, or we're safe. We live in a safe community, because there's nothing that was safer than that small community of Grand Blanc. I mean, you know that the first responders were there so fast. Nurses were there so fast. It was quite remarkable how people were there to help so fast, so quickly. So I think better preparation in the future. I think we need to look at maybe the policy, and I think that we need to heighten our awareness.
Gail Gravenstreeter now lives in Utah. She attended the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan for more than 20 years, sharing her thoughts on the tragic attack from the weekend. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's, official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer, participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Remembering President Russell M. Nelson. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Students across Utah have been dressing in their Sunday best this week after learning about the passing of President Russell M. Nelson of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Olympus High School senior Millie Rigby helped coordinate the effort at her school.
I'm a part of Seminary Council here at Olympus High School, and our general idea was that we wanted to pay tribute to President Nelson's passing and the people in Michigan who were affected. And so we decided that we wanted to wear our Sunday best to school, and we just asked everyone to spread the word.
Fellow student Eve Nielsen says she got the text message from a friend and was immediately on board. The movement grew from there.
With President Nelson's passing, I thought it was really cool to show support and to show him that we loved him, and I thought it was cool that he was always talking about being a peacemaker, and so I thought all of us showed that today.
Eve says the idea was also to show support and caring for the victims of the shooting at the Michigan Stake Center.
People were able to come together to show support and love for our prophet and just all the people that were affected by the tragedy in Michigan.
Millie says many of the students who didn't know about the plans to dress up yesterday agreed to do so today. She says President Nelson was important to her and many other young people.
He's been like our prophet for our teenage years, and like I feel like very important years, like during COVID, and just very like I feel like maybe like violent years of the world. I don't know, but having him as a prophet for us as like teenagers growing up, I think he loved our youth. Also, he was wanted just us to do the best that we could, and I know I just think he showed us so much love, and he always told us to be confident in ourselves and so we can be confident in front of Christ. So I just think I feel like us dressing up in this Sunday, it just gives me confidence because it shows that I support the Savior and I support our prophet.
We heard similar stories from schools all over the state. President Nelson's funeral will be held next Tuesday at noon. You will hear it live here on KSL News Radio. More Utah kids will be able to experience the greatest snow on earth thanks to the expansion of a popular skiing and snowboarding program. More on that after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
The Utah County area where we have rain coming down now dealing with a crash. This is southbound I-15 approaching Lehigh Main Street, blocking 2 right lanes, causing delays. And emergency crews still in the intersection in Davis County with a crash at Main Street at about 2100 North Sunset. There's a place everyone wants to be. Lighten your heart, clear your mind in a colorful Kansas. A canvas, vibrant red rocks, amber leaves, blue skies, and emerald green forest trails for the best recreating. That's Cedar City. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you are looking at remodeling or updating your home, then you need to hear about something that's going to make a huge difference, especially with cold temperatures moving in. So give your $1 million home that $1 million feel that it deserves with Peach Doors and Windows. Peach Doors and Windows, they are the trusted name in windows and doors for luxury homes, remodels, and new home builds. You know, they're not the same as the other guy. Peach specializes in custom windows. They have larger glass with slim frames, kind of that contemporary look. They have the European-style windows that tilt and turn, unique for American homes. And man, they are so easy to clean. But don't take my word for it. Go into their showroom and really see what makes them different. See these windows, see their custom doors. They come in lots of shapes and colors. And, even if you have a home that was built in the 60s, you can take out those smaller windows and put in beautiful large windows and make a huge difference. And that's because they specialize in custom windows. They are not like a lot of other companies, those giant multi-state companies with the cookie-cutter vinyl windows and high-pressure salespeople. It's just a comfortable showroom that you can go in and see their windows and doors, see their shades, and see what a difference they can make in your home, especially as the drafty temperatures start to move in. Visit Peach Doors and Windows website, see why discerning Utah homeowners choose Peach for replacement windows, or again, stop by their showroom and see what real window replacement should look like. A free home visit is easy to schedule as well. You can call them at 801-566-1255 or go to peachwindowsanddoors.com to schedule your consultation.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-275-1728. That's 800-275-1728.
Join KSL News Radio and Jeff Kaplan live at the new Applebee's in Orem this Friday from 3 to 6:30. Enter to win rivalry game tickets and dinner for 2.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Plan your escape to the Overlook Hotel. Enjoy crisp mountain air, breathtaking views, and peace and quiet. Maybe too quiet? Based on Stephen King's thrilling novel, The Shining, Jack Torrance's descent into madness at the Overlook Hotel comes to life on stage, just in time for Halloween, October 11th to 19th at the Haunted Capitol Theater. Tickets start at $26 at utahopera.org/redrum.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General, at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The greatest snow on earth getting a little closer to Utah's young people. A popular program that has introduced thousands of Utah fourth graders to skiing and snowboarding is now set for a massive expansion. Ski Utah and Youth Sports Alliance are teaming up to broaden their reach and make winter sports more affordable for all. Executive Director of Youth Sports Alliance, Emily Fisher, says the changes will allow them to connect more families to the winter sports that many Utahns know and love.
So we have been running after-school programs on the Wasatch Back for since 2010, and when the Olympic bid process was happening, the IOC and Salt Lake City officials were really excited about the success we're having on the Wasatch Back and wanted to expand to the Wasatch Front. So we got encouraged to expand to the Wasatch Front, and we knew that Ski Utah had been running programs for 33 years. They have a one-day fourth grade Learn to Ski program. It's just they've been running for a long time, and so we reached out to Ski Utah and said, is there a way that we can partner together? And they said, we were actually thinking about revamping our program, so this is great timing. So we've been working with Ski Utah for about the past 6 months to get this program up and running, and excited to partner with them this winter.
Explain what the expansion means.
Yeah, so currently Ski Utah runs one-day programs for fourth graders. So they do some curriculum in gym class, and then they do a one-day Learn to Ski program. What we do is we actually have multi-day programs after school. So we run ski programs for 4 or 5 weeks. So kids get to go skiing on their early release day 4 or 5 weeks in a row. And so we're going to be partnering with Ski Utah to bring that model to the Wasatch Front. So instead of just having one-day programs, we're going to run a pilot program with multi-day programs on the Wasatch Front, with the hope of transitioning all their one-day programs to multi-day programs in the next 2 or 3 years.
What does this mean as far as the number of students that will be able to participate?
Yeah, so I think right now Ski Utah has somewhere around 3,000 kids in their one-day program, and we've gotten great support from local ski resorts. We really couldn't do it without their support, and so we were going to be on the Wasatch Front, northern Utah, and then hopefully expanding to the full state of Utah, and we're hoping to grow that, from 3,000 kids to 30,000 kids by the time we get to 2034.
Plus, now it's not just one age group along the Wasatch Front that gets to take advantage of these programs.
Correct. Our programs are 1st through 5th grade, and as I said, we've really had great success on the Wasatch Back. So we have a proven model that works, and so we're excited to bring that model to the rest of Utah. Ski Utah has some really great data that if a kid skis 4 or 5 times, then they consider themselves a skier and oftentimes return to where they learned to ski. So excited to just create some more lifelong skiers and lifelong lovers of winter sport in the state of Utah. For our multi-day programs, we have a tiered pricing system. So students that are on free and reduced lunch pay just a very small commitment fee, and we help them get gear and proper clothing before the program starts. So when the program starts, nobody knows who potentially has a scholarship and who does not. And then we have a Tier 2 scholarship, so families that make less than $120,000 annually will pay half of the retail rate, and then we have families that pay the retail rate. So we're really just trying to remove as many barriers as we can so kids in Utah can learn how to ski and ride. We also provide transportation to and from the resorts, so families that have 2 working parents or a single-parent household can make sure that those students can participate as well.
All right. Anything you'd like to add that maybe I haven't asked you?
Just really excited to partner with Ski Utah. They've been doing this for a long time. It's really accelerated our growth on the Wasatch Front. We're grateful for that. We're also really grateful for our resort partners. So that's going to be Brighton, Deer Valley, Park City Mountain, Powder Mountain, Snow Basin, Snowbird, Solitude, Woodward, and Sundance.
That is the executive director of Youth Sports Alliance, Emily Fisher. She says the organization hopes to inspire more students to get involved in winter sports ahead of the 2034 Winter Olympics. In the next hour of Midday, we'll take a closer look at the changing guidance for those seeking to get a COVID vaccine. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The government shutdown countdown is now on. In just a few hours, the federal government could run out of money, forcing a full shutdown.
Democrats refusing to back down, saying they will not vote to fund the government unless Republicans reverse cuts to Medicaid and keep healthcare premiums from rising for some 20 million Americans. Vice President J.D. Vance with this warning.
I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing.
The time is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, September 30th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Also this hour, lawmakers here in Utah ready to step in and help if a shutdown occurs. But their plea to Congress, figure it out.
The government shutdown will just, again, cause havoc with federal workers, our national parks, security at the airport. We don't need another government shutdown.
More on what a government shutdown could do to us here in Utah and what the state is planning to do to keep things like parks open. But first, our top stories. University of Colorado has been ordered to pay $50,000 for offensive chants directed at BYU fans during Saturday night's football game. The school apologized for the situation yesterday, saying the vulgar chants and religious slurs do not reflect their values. The Big 12 Conference says it has a zero tolerance for such behavior. Utah food safety officials are offering more details to prevent sickness from listeria a day after announcing the death of a Utahn exposed to the bacteria. Department of Agriculture and Food spokesperson Caroline Hargrave says the first line of defense is to thoroughly cook your food.
I think a lot of us rely so much on convenient products these days. We're heating with a microwave, but even with a microwave, you can have those really steamy, bubbly, hot. It can look very warm, but then there's still cold spots. So to prevent listeria and other foodborne illnesses, you need to make sure the product is very thoroughly heated through.
If you begin to experience symptoms, she says you should seek medical care. Our top national story from ABC News, President Trump again says there may be consequences if Congress can't agree on a spending plan tonight.
President Trump said Tuesday there could be layoffs in the federal workforce if there's a government shutdown starting Wednesday. Asked how many people could lose their jobs, the president pointed the finger at Democrats for their shutdown demands.
We may do a lot, and that's only because of the Democrats.
The president went on to claim that Democrats are seeking, quote, full health care benefits for migrants. But Democrats are insisting on a reversal of Medicaid cuts passed earlier this year and an extension of Obamacare subsidies that are set to expire this year. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox has ordered U.S. and state flags to be flown at half staff on all state facilities in honor of President Russell M. Nelson. The flags will remain lowered until sunset on the day of his funeral. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day up by 81 points. That's after being down for most of the day, sitting at 46,397 at the close. S&P 500 up by 27, the NASDAQ up by 68 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Meese.
This accident in Utah County, this is in Lehigh. If you're traveling southbound on I-15, this is prior to the Lehigh Main Street exit, and it's been blocking right lanes. They're opening up those right lanes. It looks like one will still be blocked. However, we still have backups through Lehigh. Also, we still have police control in place at the intersection of Main Street and 2100 North in Sunset for Davis County drivers. Watch for officers directing you through the intersection. October 11th, Salt Lake City OtCon. a one-of-a-kind convention by and for autistic adults. Workshops, resources, and community. Get your tickets at otcon.org. Use promo code KSL free. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a good chance of showers across the Wasatch Front tonight, decreasing, though, by tomorrow. Tomorrow, sunshine, a high of 79, 80 on Thursday, 57 degrees right now at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
J&J Garden Center is your fall headquarters. Now through November 1st, save 20% on perennials, shrubs, containerized trees, soils, fountains, and more. You'll also find clearance trees up to 50% off. Fall is the perfect time to plant pansies, mums, and fall bulbs. Don't forget pumpkins, gourds, strawbills, and corn stalks. Plus, explore our gift shop for cozy fall decor and seasonal finds. Hurry and visit us in Layton today, and let's get your garden fall ready. J&J Garden Center, where fall begins.
It's down to the wire. Lawmakers scrambling to reach a deal that would keep the government open past tonight. Government shutdown countdown. We have special coverage on Midday. We begin with an update from News Nation's Tom Dempsey.
Government shutdown appears likely with that midnight deadline literally just hours away now at this point. And of course, this all comes after that White House meeting on Monday between President Donald Trump and the big four congressional leaders, the first type of this type of meeting during President Trump's second term. But Republicans accuse the Democrats of holding government funding hostage. Republicans want Democrats to approve a plan keeping the government funded at current levels through most of November. But on the other side of this, Anna, Democrats want to extend expiring Affordable Care Act aid and stop Medicaid cuts tied to the One Big Beautiful Bill. Both sides now continue to point fingers at the other side for the stalemate.
Their bill has not one iota of Democratic input. That is never how we've done this before. And so it's up to the Republicans whether they want to shut down or not.
We're not going to let you take the people's government hostage and then give you everything that you want. And that's really the state of the negotiation. Yeah, let's have a conversation. Let's have a negotiation. But we're not going to shut down the government because we won't give the Democrats everything that they want.
Could anything change between now and tonight? ABC's Rachel Scott continues our special coverage with the answer to that question.
This is a big question before Democrats. Is this strategy going to work, and is it actually worth it? For months, they've been hearing from their voters that have really been wanting them to take a firmer stance against President Trump and the policies that the president has moved forward with. The question is, how can they do that? They really don't have much leverage.
Republicans control the House and the Senate, and there's a Republican president. If the government shuts down, it's because Republicans want to shut the government down.
This is one of the few ways in which they can really take a stand. But at the same time, shutting down the government comes with a major risk. They're really putting a lot of weight in health care.
These people have been trying to repeal and displace people off the Affordable Care Act since 2010.
They know that if these health care premiums rise for millions of Americans, that voters may be actually really upset at Republicans instead of them.
Federal agencies already sending out guidance for if a shutdown does occur. Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo spoke to inside sources about how preparations are underway right at this very moment.
So federal agencies and, different offices here on Capitol Hill have already started to send out guidance of what to do in case of a government shutdown, especially because, we hadn't seen one since 2017, 2018. So it's been several years since we've actually experienced a government shutdown. And so, you had the White House Office of Management Budget sent some guidance out last week. I got information from some Capitol Hill offices kind of saying, they have to deem some employees essential, some non-essential, which offices are going to be open, which services are going to be closed. And so they're starting to get information of what this is going to look like. And all of that is going to start being initiated tomorrow morning, when these offices are supposed to be open, but the government may not be closed.
Is the Senate active? I mean, are there people there? Are there bodies there that if we needed to get to a vote between now and midnight, you've got the necessary people, or are they on a recess, or do you know, Cammie?
Yeah, so the Senate is in today. They will have votes at some point this afternoon or evening. They are planning on voting on that House-passed CR again at some point today. They don't have the schedule out just yet. I think they're working through some time agreements. But the plan is to vote on that House CR, the one that failed, almost 2 weeks ago in the Senate. They're going to try on it again. It might fail again. That's what we're really going to be watching an eye on, is if that's going to pass or fail before the deadline at midnight.
Cami says she's not super confident about a deal being reached today. From what she has seen and heard, it feels more like political posturing from both sides as opposed to finding a real solution.
It does seem that right now it's more political posturing than actually finding a solution to this. Both sides, rather than, budging either way or trying to find a compromise, like you said, they're just trying to blame the other side, make it seem as if the other one is controlling this completely. Democrats came out first to say that, Republicans heard their demands but aren't budging. You had Republicans come out after to say that Democrats are asking for things that they just can't give. And so you're absolutely right that this is more so like political messaging at this point. We're about 12 hours away from the deadline, and it doesn't seem like we have any movement on either side.
The last government shutdown was 7 years ago and lasted 35 days. Utah lawmakers wading into the fight to keep the federal government funded passed tonight. In a new letter, they are asking Congress to put their differences aside and pass a funding bill that would avoid a government shutdown. State Senate President Stuart Adams tells KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla that he has one central message to national lawmakers: a government shutdown would unnecessarily hurt all Americans.
Well, when we call to everyone, but if it takes 7 Democrats, I suppose it could be focused on them. But the general principle, I think, of the letter is that we probably should try to keep government running. When you shut down government, our national parks shut down, and we found a way to keep them open, but we have people coming from all over the world that want to see our national parks. We see longer lines at the airport. We see all different types of things going through through screenings. Shutting government down just causes chaos, and there needs to be a better way.
President Adams says he wishes the federal government would take a page out of Utah's books and follow the example of how the state does its budget.
I think they need to be more like Utah. In Utah, we balance our budget every year. We've cut taxes for the last 5 years. We've kept a strong economy. We believe in limited government, and we're trying to make sure that we allow the private sector to flourish, meaning a good economy. And when the economy does well, what happens is there's more tax revenue. And I think that principle should be of the balanced budget, and trying to live within your means, and trying to make sure that there's limited government and free markets is a great principle for the federal government to try to follow. Come to Utah, we'll show them how.
The letter from state lawmakers specifically calls for Democratic Senate leaders to agree to a short-term funding extension passed in the House earlier this year with bipartisan support. All 4 of Utah's House members voted to extend funding earlier this month. With a possible government shutdown mere hours away, federal agencies are looking for ways to stay open without pay. Here in Utah, the state is planning to keep both state and national parks open, even if the feds do shut down tonight. The Utah Office of Tourism's Anna Loffridge tells KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis that many local companies rely on these parks for business.
Utah is committed to keeping Utah's parks open and accessible. Ultimately, we are striving to maintain the visitor experience, preserve the natural environment, and to support our local economies. So many Utah businesses in these communities, livelihoods depend on national park visitation.
She says state parks are funded by the state, so they will remain open. But even the national parks, Loffridge says the state will do whatever it can to make sure those national parks stay open as well and funded, no matter what happens in Washington at midnight.
Well, Utah's national parks see tens of thousands of visitors every day. So Utah is committed to ensuring that we are keeping our parks open, accessible, and protected. What that will look like with a government shutdown, it's hard to say, but we are doing everything within our power as a state to make sure the visitor experience is maintained. And that's not just visitors from outside of the state or from other countries. That's for Utahns as well.
Anna Loffridge is with the Utah Tourism Office. Stick with KSL News Radio as we continue tracking a potential government shutdown. The latest updates on air, on the KSL News Radio app, and at kslnewsradio.com. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Former Utah Congressman Chris Stewart joining the leadership team of a new firm bringing its headquarters to Utah. Next Global Capital says Stewart will join the team as Chief Strategy Officer. The company says it's looking for ways to develop high-impact projects that may redefine the future. We are joined today by former Congressman Chris Stewart himself. Thank you so much for being with me.
No, Maria, glad to be with you. It's been a while since we had a chance to talk.
It has been. So tell us more about Next Global and why it's such a big deal for Utah.
Well, I think it's a great example of why Utah is a great place to do business. And they're attracting some of the most innovative and really dynamic companies in the country right now. And let me talk about Utah a little bit before we talk about Next. I mean, it's such a great place to live. I think the reason all of us live here is, I mean, most of us could live anywhere we wanted, and we choose to live here because of the environment, because of the people, because of the natural beauty. But if you're in business, it's a great place to be. With defense and technology and aerospace and biotech, a highly educated workforce. I mean, I think there's more bilingual people in Utah than anywhere in the country. A lot of people with global experience. If you're a business CEO, Utah is an incredibly attractive place to be. And I think Next Global relocating from another beautiful place, by the way, along the coast in California, but choosing to relocate their headquarters up here to Utah, really says a lot about the environment here, but a lot about this company as well. That's the kinds of things they're looking for is technology, innovation, bright people, and building really, really exciting futures.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the mission of the company. I mean, what does it mean to say they're looking for ways to develop high-impact projects that may redefine the future?
Yeah, so a lot of it is focused on new technology, which isn't surprising. I think, their mission statement is pretty clear on that. And just simply put, new technology, high-impact startups. And it's something, by the way, which we're really not that good at as as a nation, especially a technology that's oriented towards, say, defense. Whereas, there used to be a pretty substantial research and development that was funded by the government, and then we were good at taking that government-funded research and development and changing that into really successful products on the commercial side. We're not great at taking commercial innovation and bringing that to the DoD or into national security, and I think NEX is a good example of trying to help companies do that. I'll give you a good example, Maria. Anti-drone technology. The fact that we've seen the world change with the implementation of drones, and a great example of that, and a really sad example, unfortunately, is the war in Ukraine, where drone technology has dramatically changed that battlefield. And being able to protect against drone attacks is critical. That's a good example of innovation and really, taking from 0 to 1, taking a new company and making it very, very successful. Again, a great example of kind of the focus that Next Capital is really good at.
Describe for us what you hope to bring to the organization.
Well, I think there's a couple things that I'm going to be able to help them with. One is helping to identify opportunities. Having worked with 47G, for example, the Utah Aerospace and Defense Association, where I was chairman for the last year and a half or so, becoming really familiar with the 200-plus companies that are new companies, technology, some of the deep tech. Part of it is I think I'll be able to help them see the threats and the needs as I continue to work. Last week I was in Moldova, on the borders of Russia and Ukraine, and seeing the threats that are emerging in some of the Eastern Bloc companies or countries, working with Taiwan and Asia. I think I can help them understand some of the emerging threats and some of the technology that's really essential to countering those threats as the battlefield changes just in unimaginable ways. Maria, just a few years ago, we would not have imagined how AI is changing technology, changing aerospace, changing defense, changing consumers' behavior and how we interact with one another, with the internet. Looking for those opportunities, I think, is one of the keys to building a successful capital company.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Former Congressman from Utah, Chris Stewart, joining us to tell us about Next Global. If you ever find yourself zoning out, daydreaming a little more than normal, you are in good hands. Turns out most of us have trouble concentrating. We'll get the latest on a new study next. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We've had a lot of problems, and Mother Nature certainly hasn't helped. A lot of wet roads in the valley. We do have a crash in Wasatch County, blocking right lanes westbound Highway 189 near Deer Creek Reservoir. In Utah County, a crash on the southbound side of I-15 prior to Lehigh Main Street. That's causing delays. And one on the northbound side of I-15 near Temp Highway with vehicles to the left and right. And you're going to see slow speeds from Temp Highway all the way up to Bangerter Highway, where a crash on northbound I-15 had been blocking a left lane of travel. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Breaking news on KSL News Radio. We've been talking about the government headed toward a shutdown at midnight. President Trump is now speaking about that. Let's listen in.
For those plants, whether it's AI or whether it's automotive plants, we have many automobile companies open their plants in the United States. They're all coming back for two reasons: tariffs, and I think they like November 5th. They liked the person that was chosen, and they're moving in from Canada, they're moving in from Mexico, they're coming in from all over the world. China is coming. They're all coming, and that way they avoid paying tariffs. So, they're coming for that reason. So by opening up trade school, because we're going to need employees, we're going to need people with skill. And I think I can say, Linda, you feel the same way. By opening up trade school, this would be a giant trade school, series of trade schools. It would be run by Harvard. Now, this is something that we're close to finalizing. We haven't done it yet. But they put up $500 million. Interest and everything else would go to that account, meaning go to the trade school. And, it's a big investment in trade school, done by very smart people. And then their sins are forgiven. So we have a good chance of getting that close. Yeah, please.
President Trump, thank you. I've been looking at this chart that you showed us earlier, so it's leftover loss earlier. U.S. prices for brand drugs are 422% higher than comparable countries. I'm young, maybe I'm inexperienced, but I think a lot of Americans are wondering, how did we even get here being one of the biggest buyers?
You got here by incompetent people sitting behind this desk. You had a lot of incompetent people. I did it, as you know, I started it in my first term. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cuts in history. We did all these things, and we had the best economy in the history of our country during my first term. And by the way, this is blowing it away based on what we're seeing. But we got it by having people allow that to happen. And as you know, I started the process, but then when COVID came, we focused on COVID, not on this. And I said, if I ever go back and do it again, I'm going to make this a primary thing, because other countries are paying a fraction of what we pay for the same exact drug, same exact.
President Trump is speaking at the White House. He is taking reporters' questions. We were expecting him to speak about the government shutdown that is expected to happen at midnight tonight, but he didn't do so. That we will continue to follow what he's saying. Right now, do you ever find yourself unable to stay focused, finding yourself drifting off in your thoughts? Well, we might think of it as daydreaming, but new research actually finds that in general, humans are getting worse and worse at being able to concentrate, remember, or make decisions. Keihan Wong is a neuroimmunology research associate for University of Utah Health and the author of a new study. And I spoke to him about what this study means for humanity going forward.
Yeah, so what we did was we looked at over 4.5 million adults surveys responding who are collected annually between 2013 and 2023, and what we have found were adults who are younger than 40, so 18 to 39 years old. They had a large increase of these self-reported cognitive disability. And this number nearly doubles, climbing from 5.1% to 9.7%.
So what do you make of this? What's happening?
Yeah, so well, we think there could be multiple potential factors. Factors that could, such as increasing your mental burdens due to a change of economic factors, economic stressors like job market uncertainties and changing in work environments could be huge factors. Other factors that we're considering is maybe the reliance on digital devices that we're all heavily relying on our digital devices nowadays, especially our younger population than the older population. And next, on a more positive note that we think could be affecting it is decreasing the social stigma of talking about cognitive disability at a young age as well, too. So having that, decreasing the social stigma allows our younger population to talk about cognitive disability if and when they have it.
So what can we learn from this?
Yeah, well, what we can learn is, having for us as a public health, we should speak up when we feel like there's any cognitive changes or any cognitive differences to our healthcare providers. So that's one important factor. Talking to your primary care physicians or talking to your specialists about that, it's just as equally important. Another thing is what we have found was those with chronic diseases actually have a higher risk or higher rates of these cognitive disabilities as well too. So individuals who have stroke or high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, they have a higher rates of cognitive disability in this survey. So, addressing those chronic diseases are just as important as well too.
Plus, it gives healthcare providers something else to look at. They probably have been looking at 60-year-olds, and now they need to think about younger people when it comes to cognitive ability.
Absolutely. Yes. Thinking about those as young as, and from our study, as young as 18 years old, it's just as critical because one very fascinating thing that we have found was those who are, as I've mentioned, 18 to 39 years old, they nearly doubled. But while in contrast, those who are 70 and older actually declined slightly from 2013 to 2023. So addressing those is important, and addressing those and addressing cognitive disability is important, and addressing it timely is also just as critical as well too.
Keihan Wong is a neuroimmunology research associate for the University of Utah Health. The study results emphasized a need to address what are called cognitive difficulties through community health, education, awareness, and treatment. It's 2:31 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Confusion abounds around the COVID vaccine this season, but now a little bit of clarity. Rain around the area today, but how's our water year shaped up? We'll get details in just a few minutes. Also, KSL traffic. Ricky?
A new crash on I-15 in Utah County, this time near Santaquin. Maria?
KSL's top local story. State and national parks are preparing for the possibility of a government shutdown tonight at midnight. But officials say no matter what happens, they will remain open.
Utah state parks are funded by the state, meaning no matter what happens with government funding, they'll remain open.
Many of Utah's state parks are at the level of our national parks, offering great experiences and adventures.
Public Relation Manager with Utah's Office of Tourism, Anna Lowridge, says so many of the state's businesses depend on not just state, but also national parks. So Utah is committed to keeping them open for visitation. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
The man behind one of Utah's most beloved restaurants has passed away. His family says Red Iguana founder Ramon Cardenas Sr. passed away late last week. In a statement, they said his spirit lives on in every plate served, every tradition honored, and every guest welcomed through the restaurant's doors. Red Iguana has been a Salt Lake City staple for 40 years, popular enough to require the opening of a second location a few years back. Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, is coming back to Utah for the first time since he was murdered. They will be holding an event at Utah State University tonight. Former Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz will be one of the panelists filling in for Charlie. Chaffetz says he was honored to be asked to speak tonight.
It's an emotional moment. I hope to do it justice. Charlie Kirk was one of a kind, and there are not many people that have affected a younger generation to the degree that Charlie did.
Chaffetz will speak alongside Utah Senator Mike Lee, Utah Governor Spencer Cox, and Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. That event starts at 6:30. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day up 81 points, sitting at 46,397 at the close. S&P 500 up by 27, and the NASDAQ up by 68 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Is that rain settling down now, Ricky?
It seems to have eased for a little bit, but not without taking a toll. We have a new crash in Utah County, northbound I-15 in Santaquin, blocking a right lane. That's starting to back traffic. And then we still have delays left over from the earlier crash on southbound I-15 in Lehigh near 12th North, with the delays back to Temp Highway and northbound I-15. Heavy and slow, rounding the point of the mountain up to almost Bangor Highway from an earlier crash there. Cedar City is nature's backdrop, where the forest actually does meet the trees, and a journey isn't about getting there, it's about being there. For open trails, events, and colorful adventure, visit cedarcity.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Showers sticking around through the evening, about an 80% chance, but then tomorrow it looks like the showers clear. It should be a beautiful day with a high of 79, 30 much the same, high Thursday much the same with a high of 80 degrees, but then we're going to drop into the 60s on Friday. 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Vaccine skeptics and changing recommendations from the CDC are creating a lot of confusion about who should consider getting a COVID vaccine and whether or not they will be able to get one if they want it. Joining me for Health Matters on Midday, Dr. Richard Ferguson. Dr. Ferguson is an emergency room doctor and president of the Black Physicians of Utah. He tells me while COVID numbers are low in Utah right now because it's still warm, that's likely to change in the next few weeks.
And so people aren't really together yet to really increase spread. But I think we're going to see the bump start to occur as we get into Halloween, and particularly as we see people go home for the first big holiday, and that being Thanksgiving.
All right. So there is so much political division over COVID, but as a physician, do you believe that this is something people should still take seriously?
Yes, I do think someone should take it seriously, particularly those that are from impacted or high-risk groups. And when I say those that are high-risk groups, I'm talking about people that have asthma. I spoke about asthma not long ago here, and actually some people don't realize how many folks with asthma are impacted. The person with asthma is more likely to be that ICU admission, more likely to be that person that's going to go to the ER as opposed to just going to an urgent care and staying home for 5 days. That's going to be the person more likely to get asthma, to be admitted. Someone with a history of cancer, chronic kidney disease, so someone on dialysis, even children that have had bronchiolitis multiple times within the year, they can be at increased risk, and those with liver disease and diabetics. So I don't want us to minimize its risk and how we want to protect people from hospitalization, which is the primary purpose of the vaccine.
So the CDC.
So I do think. Yes,
I'm sorry. Go right ahead. You do. Go ahead.
Yeah. So people should take it seriously, especially if you have someone that falls into one of these high risk groups that you may be around. So definitely they should be protected. And then to go towards what the CDC advisory panel, the ACEP, has said. The Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, ACEP, their newest statement that came out almost 2 weeks ago now on shared clinical decision-making rather than saying everyone get the recommendation. And they're doing that because some people may not take it as seriously, and they need to understand what's their risk factors and should they get it or not. And I believe I support that tactic because people should be having shared clinical decision making for many areas of their health, and particularly health conditions, particularly when it comes to chronic management, but definitely for vaccination. But should everyone get it if you don't feel you're at risk or no one in your family's at risk and you're not going to be placing others at risk? Then I could see someone saying, no, I'm not going to get it this year. I totally understand it because it's ubiquitous now in our environment. It will cause a mild cold-like symptoms for some people, but the fact is it's highly transmissible.
So, Doctor, there might be some confusion now about accessibility due to the changes in the CDC's recommendations. Can I just walk up to a pharmacy now and get a COVID shot?
So it varies based on your state, and part of it is because of the initial FDA approval saying only those for all adults greater than 65 and people 6 months to 64 that are at high risk for severe COVID. And that's when we go into that really, really long list for chronic conditions. And so pharmacies want to make sure that the cost for the vaccine is going to be covered by insurance for them, make sure that people have gone through and been assessed for that risk factor, because they don't know if someone walks in and wants to get it and they say, yep, I want the shot. And they just have to kind of take people at their word, which I feel they should. And I know many insurance companies in Utah, especially if they're practicing in Utah, there's insurance people in Utah, they are covering COVID, even if you are not someone particularly with the high risk factor. But the thing is, you being able to walk in, pharmacies are gatekeeping right now in a little over 24 states because they want to make sure that someone has at least had that discussion to state you are someone with that risk factor. Now, mind you, their doctor may not think they have it, but if they have a prescription in hand, their provider gives them a prescription to say, yes, you can get COVID. To them, to the pharmacy, you have passed that qualifying risk factor. You've been evaluated for that risk factor.
And then what is the availability? Is there still research, and is the current shot going to be effective or more effective? And then what's the availability of it?
Availability right now, I think it's just started arriving the end of last week. So COVID-19 vaccination for the, mind you, we're still looking at the little children of the Omicron, if everybody remembers that. So this is the J1.1, lineage or variant. But yes, Pfizer still has their vaccine, Moderna, and Novavax. So those are the three that are available right now for the current dominant variant that's circulating this year. It's expected to be 30 to 50% effective for reducing the risk of hospitalization or severe COVID.
Has there been any sign of side effects? Or, I know there's always someone who reacts from different things, but overall, is this safe?
Yes, it is safe. It's not much different than the side effects that people were incurring when the mRNA vaccine was starting to be provided to folks in early 2021. So it still hasn't changed. There's still that small risk for, I think, 1 in 100,000 to young males that they can develop a small chance of pericarditis that can occur. You have some people that will have prolonged body aches, maybe a low-grade fever for 1 or 2 days. I would have to say that probably happens in about 20% of folks, but most of the time, most people just have some soreness in their arm for a day or two, and then they're fine.
Overall, do you recommend the vaccine?
Yes, I'm getting it, but I'm also a different part of the population because I'm going to be exposed to those that are high risk because I work in an emergency room. So I would want to make sure that I'm protecting my patients.
Dr. Richard Ferguson is an emergency room doctor and president of the Black Physicians of Utah. Yesterday, we learned that a change in direction from the state of Utah means that you no longer need a prescription to get the COVID vaccine here. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Have you had the rain come through your neighborhood yet today? Some places in Utah saw rain overnight. Others have seen it throughout the day today. You may not realize it, but today, September 30th, is actually the end of the water year. But even with the bits of rain today, we're still below our average water totals.
The typical amount that we see during the water year over a 20-year average is 14.68 inches of precipitation. And right now in this season, we have 10.48 inches. So we're about 4 inches behind. So unless we get 4 inches over the next day, then we're not going to be seeing at least average. But it will be a beneficial rain to get a little bit closer to that average.
National Weather Service meteorologist Brittany Whitlam tells KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson that despite a lower than average water year, the next year looks like it may get off to a good start with rain in the forecast for the coming weekend. Whitlam also says that with the incoming cold front, be prepared. Winter is just around the corner. And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, raining and 55 degrees. And tonight, it looks like that rain is going to continue, but then clearing off tomorrow. Honoring Utah's veterans, dozens on the way to the nation's capital for a Utah honor flight. More on that next, but first is KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We have this crash on northbound I-15 in Santaquin. It's still blocking a right lane and still causing a little bit of backups. A new accident again in Parley's, westbound I-80, about a mile prior to Lambs Canyon. It's being moved out of traffic to the left shoulder in northbound Highway 89. A crash right about 2400 south and Woods Cross blocking a left lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone. And now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
Do you know why more homeowners choose Any Hour Services for help when it's time to replace their air conditioners? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the main reasons people choose Any Hour Services is because of our people, processes, and convenience. People tell us all the time that there's just something different about having an Any Hour Services technician in their home. That's why most of our over 18,000 Google reviews mention our technicians by name. Another reason is our 7-step install process that we call the Any Hour Difference. It all starts with the needs analysis, where you explain what you like and dislike about your current system. This helps us design and size a system that fits your comfort and efficiency preferences as well as your home's airflow requirements. As for convenience, most of our installs are completed in one day. We also have flexible, no-money-down financing options available, even if you've been told no in the past. So if you've been thinking about getting a new air conditioner, call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate today. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
Join the KSL Movie Show this Friday at Advanced Window Products from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tune in for a movie show special just for KSL listeners from Advanced Window Products.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
Breaking news on KSL News Radio. We are learning about an evacuation at Utah State University. My executive producer, Andy Cupp, joins us to tell us what's happening there.
Yeah, Maria, so we just got this alert in. It is an Aggie alert telling people at Utah State University to evacuate Old Main on campus. For those who aren't familiar, that's kind of the main historic admin building. It's the one with the giant A up on top of it. There is no indication as to why they are being evacuated, so that is something to point out. However, as we were discussing earlier on Midday, there is the Turning Point USA meeting tonight there on the campus at the Spectrum, and I've just been told that they are being evacuated due to a suspicious package, which, I mean, we do see.
Could be a backpack. You never know.
Exactly.
It could be something or might not be something.
Exactly. We see suspicious packages all the time, but out of abundance of precaution, they are evacuating the Old Main building on Logan campus. They are telling people to take only essential items, go to their department's evacuation area if applicable. Old Main is not where the Turning Point USA event is tonight. That is being held at the Spectrum, which is on the northern end of campus. Old Main is kind of more on the south central part of campus. So they could be completely unrelated. We are currently looking into it right now. We've got reporters for news radio and for TV that are helping out to try and see what we can, but that's what we know at this point.
And we'll continue to bring you the very latest. Meantime, a special flight today taking veterans from Utah to Washington, D.C. 49 local veterans are heading to the nation's capital to visit the memorials for the wars that they served in. Utah Honor Flight Director Stephanie Harmon says the festivities begin from the moment the veterans get onto the plane.
No, we have amazing stuff that happens on the flight. So one of the big things that we do is what we call mail call. And so every one of our veterans that's on the flight has a package of letters. They're from families, from friends, from the public, from our representatives, from our governor. We gather, letters from everyone, and we fill those mail call packets up. And then about halfway from here to Dulles is where we're landing at. We get up at the front of the plane, kind of talk to them about, what was the one thing that you guys looked most forward to when you were, during, your military service and stuff. And almost every one of them will say, letters from home. And then we call out each one of their names and present them with their letters. And then they're able to read those letters on the flight. So that's probably one of the most amazing parts of this trip for a lot of them, is getting those letters from people that they know.
Harmon tells KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson that this particular trip is being called the Utah Small Business Flight because it's being made possible through more than $50,000 in donations from local businesses.
So the veterans all fly free. Our staff and our guardians, the volunteers, we do have a cost that we, that comes from us personally. And then from the guardians, the family members or the friends that go with the veteran. But the veterans' costs are 100% paid for. So we have had some amazing sponsors like through the year, but this particular flight is actually what we have called our Utah Small Business Flight. And so we had, we just kind of like sent out on social media, through the grapevine, we kind of contacted some businesses here locally in Utah. And so for a flight of 50 veterans, our cost for that portion of it is about $75,000. And we raised probably pretty close. I think our actual amount that we raised was about 53 of that 75 from small businesses here in Utah. So that's where this money came from. Just small businesses, reaching out. Our lowest was like $100 donation that came in. And I think our highest was around $15,000 that came in from one business.
This year, they've done 4 Utah Honor flights. They'll have one more this year in November, bringing the total to 5 flights in 2025. A new actress is causing quite a stir in Hollywood. She's not very popular among her coworkers, but she's pretty popular on social media. But here's the thing. She's not a real person. ABC's Maggie Rulli has more on this AI-generated actress.
Hollywood actors are speaking out, responding to reports that multiple talent agencies are interested in signing an AI actress.
I'm built on everything that came before me.
Tilly Norwood might seem like any other aspiring actress. She has an Instagram page showing off her screen tests alongside candid moments.
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
She even posted this video on Facebook, which she says features her first on-camera role.
Let's get to know each other, and thanks for watching.
But Tilly Norwood is not a real actress. She's a character generated by artificial intelligence. Her creator says she's getting very real attention. Elaine Vandervelden runs the AI talent company that made Tilly. She says, when we first launched Tilly, people were like, what's that? And now we're going to be announcing which agency is going to be representing her. But that announcement, not sitting well with many Hollywood stars. Emily Blunt saying, this is really, really scary. Come on, agencies, don't do that. Marvel star Simu Liu saying, movies are great, but you know what would be better is if the characters in them weren't played by actual humans, but by AI replicas approximating human emotion.
You are suddenly up against something that's been generated with 5,000 other actors. It's been given all of these, you know, it's got Betty Davis's attitude, it's got this one's, it's got Humphrey Bogart's lip. So it's a little bit of an unfair advantage.
Vandervelden insists Tilly is not a replacement for a human being, but a creative work, a piece of art. AI characters should be judged as part of their own genre, on their own merits, rather than compared directly with human actors. But just a few months ago, Vandervelden said she wanted Tilly to be the next Natalie Portman or Scarlett Johansson. Vandervelden believes audiences just care about the story, not whether the star has a pulse, and claims studios are quietly moving forward with AI projects and to even expect more announcements in the coming months.
That is ABC's Maggie Rulli there. Jeff Kaplan is here. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next, and coming up, a live report from the campus of USU where an evacuation is underway. Have a great afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. A mere 57 degrees, a dark gray sky in Salt Lake City, and we have showers. KSL's top story. Charlie Kirk's organization is hours away from its first college campus event since the assassination. They're getting ready at Utah State University for the resumption of the Turning Point campus tour. We have multiple reports, including about this security issue happening right now. But first, let's begin with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. Heather?
Jeff, USU says today's security measures at the Spectrum will be similar to how they protect athletic events. Everyone who attends will be required to go through a metal detector. Large bags aren't allowed, and small bags will be searched. However, according to state law, if someone has a concealed weapon permit, they are allowed to carry on campus. Former Unified Deputy Police Chief Chris Bertram tells Midday with Maria, Utah is unique in that way.
You're going to the extent to restrict bags and have